All right. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Ambition Unlocked. I'm your host, Louie, and it's always good to have you back. I've been working on my page, making it looking more professional. I'm figuring things along as I go. I kind of just woke up and decided to make a podcast one day. A lot of people told me I should, so I kind of just went ahead and did it. I didn't really do that much research, and there's a reason for that. And this kind of ties along with the topic of this podcast episode as well. This one is called. This was actually a special request by one of my best friends, a brother of mine. I'm super excited to make this episode, and I'm even more excited that the idea was brought to me by someone close to me. And the topic of this episode is about being delusional about your dreams and your goals. I really felt connected with that topic just because of who I am and how I live my life and the decisions and choices that I've made. To tell you the truth, you have to be delusional about your dreams and your goals for you even to have a chance of achieving them. Somebody once told me if you're not afraid of your dreams or you don't think your dreams are unattainable, you're not thinking big enough. And let's use this podcast as an example, right? I'll get a topic. One thing I like to do, I don't like to write scripts. I freestyle what I'm talking about. I just like to be authentic. So I don't write a script. I come up with a topic or somebody tells me a topic or something that's on my mind. And I just start talking about it based on my experiences. So that way it doesn't sound pre-recorded like AI and all that good stuff. I like to just be as natural as possible. And I'll take the time and the effort. I'll dress nicely, be presentable, set up my lighting, my mic, my everything to make sure I get the perfect angle, the background. I don't have a backdrop. This is literally my living room right now at the place I'm currently staying in. I'll spend maybe 45 minutes to an hour recording a podcast episode and probably spend 2 to 3, maybe even more hours editing, coming up with thumbnails, writing the description. And at the end of the day, I'll probably have like 10, 15 views, if that, and that's on a good day. You get what I mean? And for you to dedicate so much time and effort into a bigger picture, because I see myself as not just being, one of the most recognized musicians in the world with a lot of accolades, but I also want this podcast to be one of the biggest to ever, be made. I want my clothing line to be, at the fashion district with Louis Vuitton, Burberry, Hermes. I want everything to be that big. And I don't know how to draw correctly. I don't know how to actually draw and design my clothes. I kind of know how to draw a little bit, but like designers who really draw clothes from scratch, I don't know how to do that. My first shirt that I ever designed, I was designing it on Google Docs. I was taking pictures and putting them together, cropping and putting my ideas to work. And for you to spend hours and hours to make content, making it as great as possible with what you have at that point in time, to put it out there, and then for you to have 2 to 3 views, and then you have to go ahead and do it week by week, and you don't know who's watching. You don't know if anybody's even gonna watch your video. I remember my first podcast episode, I had no views for literally 2 weeks. My first view was myself. I rewatched it, like that was the only view. My friend watched it, had 2 to 3, and I within like 7 months I probably had an extra 6 viewers on that. But the thing about it is, if you're passionate about something, you got to stop worrying about the results, but just worry about the steps that's going to get you there. And that's why you literally have to be delusional about what you want. Right now I'm literally talking to my phone. However amount of views that this is going to get, whether it's 1, 2, 200,000, 200 million, I'm just talking to a camera. And my delusional dreams right now is for this podcast to have over 100 million subscribers, constantly over 100 million views. And I'm talking to who possibly nobody. This episode might have 10, 15, maybe 20 views. And once again, once next Sundays come, I have to release another podcast episode and keep doing it. And the crazy thing about it is, I believe that I'm going to hit these numbers. I'm going to have over 1 million plus subscribers. I'm going to average 100 million views plus. I believe in the success of my clothing line and my music. And right before this podcast, I just spent 6 hours working on a song. I wrote it. It took me a couple of weeks to write. Now it's in the production stage. I want to release it as my single. I've spent hours working on it, and I don't like how it sounds. I don't like how it sounds. And at the end of the day, I still believe once the song is complete, engineered, mastered, and I put it out there, it's going to be a great song. And at the back of my mind, I'm proud of the song and I want to release it. But I probably know, like with my first single, my first release, I might be lucky if I get 100 plays in 30 days. But I know once I achieve my goals, I'm going to be compared to Michael Jackson's and the greatest, Taylor Swift, all those people with some of the greatest accolades. And I don't know how to mix and master. I'm literally using YouTube tutorials to just chase a dream. And all this to say is you have to be delusional. You can't have a backup plan. You can't, if this doesn't work out, the moment you have, if this doesn't work out, I'll just do this, you already lost the battle. Being delusional about your dreams means there is no other outcome, no other, your goal is the only outcome. Unless you die before it, whether you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 100, your end goal is always going to be what you set out to do from the very beginning, whenever you first had that dream. And I'm going to tell you a couple stories of why I feel that a lot of people kind of give up on their goals and their dreams and get sidetracked because they're not delusional enough. They're just not. And the crazy thing about it is it's either you get in a really bad spot or you get in a really good spot. It's either you're so down bad you feel like there is nothing you can do to come up from it and you just get stuck and you live your life in pity and sorrow and feeling bad for yourself and playing victim, always thinking about, oh, woe is me. Or you get to a point where you're making a certain amount of money, or you have a certain amount of success, and you're clinging on to that little bit of success that you have, and you're afraid to risk it to get to that next level because you're comfortable where you're at. You probably have enough to get you a nice decent crib in a nice decent neighborhood. You drive a nice decent respectable car. You probably have a girl or a guy that's decent looking with a decent opportunity themselves, and whatever dream you set out to do, you're like, I'm making 100K here. It's easy. I got benefits. I got me a little girlfriend. We're planning on having kids and being blah, blah, blah. Whole time when you started out, you wanted to be the greatest whatever, the greatest architect, the greatest designer, the greatest painter. You wanted to be a farmer and own acres of land. You wanted to be an entrepreneur. You wanted to be this, that, and the third. But you get to a point in life where you get comfortable and you're not delusional enough where no amount of lesser success equates to that greater success. And this is when I knew I was delusional. This is when I knew, in the words of 50 Cent, I gotta get rich or die trying. This is not a made up story. This is literally how I live my life. And these are some of the decisions that I've made before I started to talk into this camera for whoever's watching right now, right? My first job, I wasn't getting paid nothing. It was whatever. I saved my money. I was living with my parents. And one thing I always do is, I'm Haitian, and in our community, we respect our elders, and we always talk to them and ask for their advice, no matter who they are, even if they're a complete stranger. If they're older than you, that means they have some type of wisdom. And to us, wisdom is worth more than money, because that wisdom they give you can put you in a position where it's gonna set you up forever, or it's gonna give you a warning to not do some dumb shit that's gonna set you back forever. So every time I've worked a job, I've always talked to like management. And I would talk to managers and be like, anytime you work for a job, bro, there's always one manager that's been there for like 30 years, bro. I don't know why, bro. It's either like, even companies with high turnover rates, there's always that one manager. If they're not fired, they're there for at least 10 years, bro. I don't know why, right? And I would always talk to these dudes. I'm like, bro, why are you like a manager at this store, bro? Like, you're like 30, you're like 40. What was your dreams before you got here? You know what I mean? Like, what did you aspire to be when you were younger? And I never want to downplay anybody's, success, because nobody's dreams is greater or lesser than yours. My goal is to be a billionaire before I die, and I want to do it through music, fashion, and creating content and just being who I am. But if somebody told me their dream was to be a doctor or a teacher, I'm not going to say, oh, because your salary is 40 bands and my dream is to be worth multi-billions, your dreams are lesser than mine. That's not it at all. Your dreams is your dreams. Whatever you got to do to get there, like, I believe they're on the same playing field. Money is just, It's made up. It's not a real thing. We just use it to regulate life and create structure in society. But money is not a real thing. So I never judge somebody's dreams as less or greater than mine, right? But every time I would talk to these people, I'd be like, oh, I always wanted to be like a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to get into real estate. I want to do this. And I'm just like, compared to what I plan on doing, I'm like, you can just, no disrespect, but you can still go do that. Why are you here? And the craziest thing is, bro, like people always sell themselves a lie. Every time like you ask somebody what their dreams are, and if they're not living it, they'll tell you why they gave up on it. And every time they talk about it, you can tell they're just like they dug the grave, put their dream in there. And every time somebody asks them about what was your dreams and why did you give up on it, it's like they're putting dirt on the coffin every time they have to talk about it. And I see the pain in people's face when you talk about mundane conversations. Nobody cares. Like, hey, how you doing? How was your day? How's the wife and kids? Oh, okay, cool. What did you do this weekend? Nobody gives a fuck, bro. That's just conversations to get you by. You're not gonna remember the conversation tomorrow, right? No matter who you're talking to, if you ask them what's their passion in life, what's their dreams, what's your goals, what did you want to be when you were little, what did you aspire to be? No matter who they are, whether they're homeless, drug addicts, millionaires, billionaires, you're always gonna see a sparkle in somebody's eyes. I can't explain it. When you talk to somebody about their passion, it's like they wake up from the matrix, as fucking Andrew Tate like to say. They just wake up from the matrix like, oh, I wanted to do this, I want to do that. I was younger, I wanted to be the next Picasso. I used to paint like no other. I wanted to go to art school. I wanted to travel to France. I wanted to paint. I wanted to discover monuments that have not been discovered and paint them. I wanted to be an archaeologist. I want to link fucking humans to whatever, bro. I want to discover new species. And you see people like, it's like they woke up, like a fog just cleared, and they can see clearly. And then like they get so excited, and then you're like, why aren't you doing that? And then you just see all the life get drained from their face. And then every time I have this conversation, I just watch people, and they're like, oh, I went to school. I didn't like my teachers. I didn't focus. I didn't care. Like I cared about the guys or the girls. I was doing drugs. I didn't take it seriously. I'm like, okay, that was then. That was 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. That time has already passed. Now you know what not to do. Why don't you pick it back up? Oh, I got a wife, I got kids, the economy, this job, why risk it? I have benefits, I have this, that, and the third. And as they're talking about the reasons why they're not being, chasing their dreams and why they gave up on it, you watch the life leave their face again. And it's like the sun went away and the clouds rolled back up once they're telling you why they're not chasing their dreams and why they just, all the reasons that they couldn't achieve that level of success, why they couldn't achieve their dreams. And I'm not gonna lie to you, ever since I was like a kid, I'm like, I told myself I'd rather not be alive than spend my life doing something I don't want to do. Like, what are you doing it for? What are you waking up for? You wake up early to go to a job that you probably hate, to talk to people that you don't give a fuck about. You're probably in a situationship and you probably settled for your significant other. A lot of relationships, bro, like when I talk to other men and other women, oh, he just happened to be there, whatever. I rarely I I've been in a lot of sales job and I've met hundreds and thousands of people. The amount of people that I've met that are still truly in love and in a happy relationship, I could probably count them on one hand. And I've met hundreds and thousands of people. I travel a lot. And all these people are living lives that they don't give a fuck about. And I just, for me, I feel it's more insane to spend your life working a job that you don't care about, with people you don't care about, with a significant other you probably just settle for, you don't really love for real, love for real. It just makes sense. And you're just living day by day, and you're just counting the days until you retire. And once you retire, you're too old to do shit. A lot of people don't take care of their bodies, and you're slowly breaking down, and You work 5, 6 days a week and then you get drunk on the weekends, and that's what you're looking for. That shit always blew my mind, where you would work 5 days a week so that way you can get drunk and faded on a Saturday night and then wake up feeling terrible, and then that gives you some spice, and then you repeat the cycle all over again. And I'm like, that is depressing as hell. I'm like, how does nobody else like just see the world like that? I'm watching people just kill their dreams and try to wash it away with the regular, with the day-to-day mundane life that they live. And I'm like, you people have no life in your eyes. I grew up around a lot of people. When you're in poverty, bro, it just is what it is, bro. When you grow up not having shit, bro, you just meet a lot of people with depression, that are suicidal, that have gone through a lot, and they have no life in their eyes. If all you know is pain and misery and discomfort, you don't look at life the same. You have no life in your eyes, and I can see that. I guess it's something that me and some of my close friends were just blessed with. Like, we can see like the life in people's eyes, and 98% of people I meet have no life in their eyes. And I'm like, why would you want to spend your entire life not living life? Back to the story, I would talk to all these people, all these managers, and they would give me all these reasons as to why they couldn't do something. And I would always like get depressed, and I would work these jobs, and I'll be good at what I do. And ironically, I've been promoted a lot, like a lot. My first six-figure job offer, I was like 20, 22, 23. And I was living with my parents. I made sure I had no bills, because I'm like, man, if I ain't got to pay like a car note, I ain't got to pay no rent. All I can do is like every dollar I make, I can put it towards what I want in life, my dreams, and what I want. For me, it was always just, I'm gonna make it. There's no other option. I don't see myself working a fucking job and retiring when I'm 60, 70. They're pushing it back every year, 60, 70 years old. And I get to fucking buy a Mustang, or if I save enough, I get to buy a fucking Porsche and retire, put fucking 10,000 miles on that bitch, and I fucking die. Kids probably don't fucking like me because I spent all my time working a job. I don't want to go home because I don't like my wife for real. You feel me? I don't want to sound like that guy, but every time I've talked to people like older than me, and that's exactly how they describe their life. Happy wife, happy life, Like, nigga, how about your happiness, bro? How about happy you, nigga? Like, you feel me? Like, and I feel like if it's happy wife, happy life, bro, your wife ain't really happy, bro. She's just accepting whatever you think is joy to her, bro. Like, it's not a functional relationship. And I'm watching these people just, they choose to live that every day versus going through the struggles and obstacles, and just overcoming all that, and really like achieving your fucking dreams and your goals and shit. Every time I've ever been offered a promotion, I kid you not, I've quit every single fucking job. The first time that ever happened to me was when I first started working for AT&T. I was a very good salesperson, and I just wanted to make more money, bro. I'm just like, what I'm saying? I've hit that plateau. And at that time, I just started putting money. I invested in getting an LLC. I was going to the studio. I was really investing myself. And this was during the time of COVID. And I saved up so much fucking money, bro. I'm just like, you know what? I'm willing to lose $10,000 in order to learn how to make $100,000, because that's not a loss. That's a lesson. And I did everything you could think of, bro. I looked into crypto. I looked into day trading. I looked into fucking currency exchange and shit. Like, it's cool. Honestly speaking, had I put that time into it, I could have been making a whole lot more money than I am now. I just never enjoyed any of that. And I hate numbers. I don't like working with fucking numbers. I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you, bro. I like art. I like literature. I like music. I'll do all of that shit. But when it comes to math, anything that has to do with math, like, I ain't with none of that shit. That's why my best friends, I call my brothers, nigga. One is a financial advisor. One is a fucking licensed CPA accountant. I ain't gotta worry about numbers, nigga. That is not my forte, and I'm not gonna act like I give a fuck about it. And it's one of those things where I'm like, you know what? I spent so much money in investing in myself just to learn. So I'm like, you know what? Let me, for the first time, actually try to go up and get like a assistant manager position, and maybe go to a manager position. And bro, I don't know what it is. I knew it was the like financially speaking at the time, it was the right decision to do. As soon as I made that decision, bro, I felt like somebody had a knife to my throat every day. And every time I took a step forward towards getting that promotion, I felt like I was slowly hanging myself. I can't explain the feeling. And I always had this gut feeling since I was like 16 is when I really decided I want to be great. I want to be a musician and I want to be one of the best at it. That's when I decided to do that. And I always told myself, no matter what I do to make money in the meantime, whether legally or illegally, never get in too deep, because once I'm too deep in that aspect of life, I feel like it's like a gut feeling, bro. It's not one thing about a gut feeling, bro. You don't know where it comes from, but it's like the universe or God is speaking to you himself through you. And you just like, whatever you do, it was like a fucking warning sign. Whatever you do, whatever job, whatever you want to do for money, if it's not aligned with your goal and your dreams, don't get too deep in it. You're gonna lose yourself and you're gonna lose your dreams, and before you know it, it might be too late. So I always had this thing where like I never like to work jobs for long. I've never held a job for more than like 6 months. Besides that AT&T job, that's another reason why it made me uncomfortable. I had that job for almost 2 years. I don't know. Once I decided to advance in my career, I felt like I was like killing a version of myself. And I got to a point I'm just like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing. So I wanted to launch my clothing line and I wanted to really like put my music out there, but my heart wasn't in it. I was making music and I couldn't relate to it. And one thing I want to do is when I put music out there, yes, I want to make music for my like for fans and for people to relate to, but if I can't relate to it and I have no emotional attachment to it, I don't want to put it out there. You know what I mean? Like if I put out something that I don't like and I feel like it's trash and people receive it as trash, I just feel like I know, so why the fuck did I do it? But if I put something out there and I put my heart and soul into it and I have nothing but confidence in it and I love the piece, I don't give a fuck if 100 million people tell me that shit is trash, because I for one love it and I think it's a masterpiece and I made it and I think it's very relatable. If 100 million people hate what I put out but one person found it relatable and it helped them, that's all I need. So I decided to go ahead and I'm like, man, I really want to just go head first into this. I was working for a at-home company at the time, so I just hit the road. My friend woke up one day and she was like, we were in Florida, and she had to renew her rent, and this was when rents like first started like going through the roof. And she was like, bro, my rent is like 1,500, and they're talking about they gonna increase it to 2,400 for a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. And I'm like, yeah, that's out of pocket, right? And she was like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was doing the math, and I always wanted to travel. I wanted to live in California, but I always wanted to take a road trip. And I was doing the math, and the price to go ahead and get an Airbnb for a month is actually cheaper than paying rent here. And I just want to travel the world. And I was like, you know what, bro? That's a great idea, bro. I'm gonna go with you. And the reason I decided to go with her is because this is the craziest shit ever, and it blows my mind, but you get more love and support from strangers than people that know you. And I don't know that many people, but I know enough to where like from where I came from to the amount of success that I got, for me to go from where I was at to that amount of success, there is people that I know that would literally kill me out of jealousy and envy. This is not BS. This is a thing within our community. It's stupid as hell. And I was like, you know what, bro? Like Miami's cool and all, but like I've never left. Like I went to FAMU for college, but I'm like I've never traveled for real, right? So I was like, you know what? Let me figure out where I want to go. And every time I've listened to music, whether it's ASAP Rocky, Kendrick, Drake, well, not Kendrick, but like ASAP Rocky, Drake, J. Cole, all those rappers that I aspire to be like, even 50 Cent, Kanye West, every song they have, they were like, you know what? I left my comfort zone and I left my city with my dreams. And I just said, fuck it. Because I don't want to live that mundane life of that 9 to 5 and waiting for my retirement and telling motherfuckers why I didn't follow my dream. I don't have an option. I'm gonna get rich or die trying. And I woke up, I was like, because I felt at a crossroads in my life and I didn't know what to do. And she brought up that idea. And it's like my gut feeling was just like, go. I don't know why. And I listened to it. It was like, nigga, you gotta go. This is the only way that you're gonna get to where you need to be. So ASAP Rocky and Drake, if you listen to their music, they have a big Houston influence, like Texas. J. Cole went to New York. I think Kanye flew from Chicago to somewhere else. And I was like, you know what, bro? Maybe being away from home and seeing different environments and meeting strangers and just starting fresh is going to give me what I need, what I need to make it. And not only that, I'm like, man, I also want to see like where would like my market group be? Because I started my LLC in Florida, but when I launched my clothing line, I was on the road. So my whole thing was, man, I'm finna sell my products in fucking Houston, Las Vegas, and when I get to California, Los Angeles, shit, probably go to Chicago and New York. And then whatever the biggest city, whatever city where I catch a buzz, I'm like, that's gonna be where I stay planted for however long until I just make it to the top and I can do what I need to do. I can achieve my dreams and start giving back to those I love. So that was the plan. And like I told you from the beginning of this podcast, life doesn't go as planned. Shit went horribly wrong. I had to learn a lot of lessons, but I think that was the whole point of the road trip. I made a lot of mistakes from learning about business finances and not mixing with your personal finances. The importance of consistency, how marketing is probably more important than your product. You can probably have the worst piece of shit product in the world, and if it's marketed correctly, it can sell better than fucking Louis Vuitton. So these are all things that I had to learn during the process. And at the same time, I also learned like human nature. Doesn't matter what city you're in, you're always going to find haters. And no matter what city you're in, you're always going to find somebody that just authentically will support you just because they fuck with what you're doing. So these are all things that I learned, but I had to walk away from hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, because I rather struggle to continue to chase my dream until I achieve it than take a lesser form of success earlier that is probably going to put me in a good, decent, fucking respectable position in life from whoever, but it will kill my dreams. I don't care if I'm making $250,000 fucking doing data entry, fucking software, whatever development, fucking being an engineer or whatever. If I fucking hate the job, I feel like I sold my soul. And ironically, the more I believe in myself and believe in my dreams, the more I can't respect regular people. Have you ever noticed every time you see somebody make it who came from nothing and they get fame, you know what people say? Oh, they sold their soul. They sacrificed somebody to get where they need to be. And I'm like, bro, you don't know what the fuck that person went through. You don't know the fucking countless nights that they probably slept in their car. You don't know, they probably faced eviction. They were probably doing whatever, anything that they can because they chose to follow their dreams and see it through to the end than settle for a 9 to 5. To me personally, if you had a dream that you gave up on and you chose to work a 9 to 5, to me, you sold your soul. If you're doing something that you hate every single day for the rest of your fucking life, I think you sold your soul for comfort. When you're comfortable, that's when you stop growing, bro. You hate your job, but it pays the bills. It pays the rent on the first. It pays your car note. It pays for that little date that you can go on. It pays for just enough to keep you satisfied. But no matter what the fuck you do in life, the moment you get, I got this shit from J. Cole, bro. He has this song and he said, I remember these words. I listen to the people I want to be like because that's the only advice I give a fuck about, bro. Joe Schmo working at a fucking McDonald's, I don't give a fuck. Joe Schmo, who's a manager making $250,000, I don't give a fuck either, bro. Because you're not what I want to aspire in life. I've met niggas with $250,000 in cash on them. I don't give a fuck about what you gotta say. The nigga that's living my dream and the lifestyle that I want, doing what he loves, and he's giving advice, That's the nigga I'ma listen to. And J. Cole in a song said, even if they kill your dreams, it's gonna haunt you. And I learned that shit from very young. Every time, like, remember that story I told you in the beginning? Every time I talk to somebody that was older than me in a dead end job that they have some type of power in, every time they talk about their dreams, I can see that shit haunting them in their soul. And then they lose their life again and they go back to their mundane life. So I decided to just say fuck it and risk it all to get to where I need to be, because that's my end goal. But some of my biggest inspirations are Kanye, J. Cole, Drake, 50 Cent, ASAP Rocky. Those are some of the main ones that I can think of right now, but they were like the first ever ones to really motivate me to chase my dreams, because all these people came from a lifestyle where they had nothing. And that's the main reason of this topic too. You gotta be delusional about what the fuck you want. All them niggas ain't had no bread. 50 got shot 9 times. He was selling dope when he was 12 years old to provide for his family, living in Section 8. He's a fucking billionaire before he turned 50. Jay-Z is the same way. Kanye West is the same way. What was that song, bro? I went to Jacob with 50,000 before I bought a house, and I'll do that shit again. The nigga left everything and took a chance on himself. ASAP Rocky, J. Cole, them niggas just left and took a shot, because even if they kill your dreams, it's gonna haunt you. They were delusional. You know how easy it is to go get a 9 to 5 and be straight, work your way up, possibly become management, possibly make 6 figures. That's easier said than done. You just gotta lock in, you do the right things, you kiss the right ass, and you talk to the right people. Because most of the time, it's not about your work ethic. It's about who you know and who knows you, and how they perceive you. A lot of time people get promoted and they don't do half the shit they say to do. Their team does it, they take the credit, they know how to present that shit on a silver platter. Their name get brought up, and next thing you know, they're in a higher position. You can easily do that. But for you to make a podcast, spend hours recording, spend hours editing, and you get 12, 15 views, and you do that shit consistently, weekly, you out here, you've been making music for a decade, and you don't even have 100 listeners on Spotify, but you see yourself on the Billboard 100 at number 1. You see yourself selling out stages while you're eating fucking 444s, bro. That's delusional. But at the same time, I've seen niggas be delusional and make it. And all those people that tell me to be realistic, what the fuck are they doing? Working a 9 to 5 that they hate, bitching about their boss, bitching about their lifestyle, bitching about bills, bitching about the economy. But they're telling me to be realistic. I don't want to be realistic. I want to be delusional, because I am. I've been delusional. I'm telling you, bro, if you don't see me make it, I'm not breathing. Get rich or die trying. Curtis Jackson in the flesh. And I just can't understand how people just, like, how is that realistic? You know, let's talk the numbers, right? You have 2 weeks off a year, if you have a good job, bro. 2 weeks off. Whether you take a vacation with your family, whether you travel, you might have and let's just say you might have another 5 days with, like, let's just give you another week, 2 weeks of PTO, 1 week of like sick time and paid holidays, bro. There is 365 days in a year. You have 21 days off, bro. Like, you have 21 like vacation days. Yeah, whatever, the weekend. I don't count the weekends as days off, bro. Let's keep it 100, bro. When you're off, what do you do, bro? That first day off, what do? You go grocery shopping. You clean your crib. That's if you're single. And if you got kids, shit. You feel me? One of your days off, you're not off, bro. You got a wife, she wants you to do errands, bro. You got a husband, he wants to do a bunch of different things, and he wants to spend all his money. He wants to do whatever, bro. You're not off, right? And you're doing this at a job you don't really like. You have some benefits. You get sick for real, you might be cooked. Like, you can't really afford to do too much. You can afford to kind of live the lifestyle that you're living, but you can't really, your dream car, you can't really get that. Your dream house, you're stuck in this mortgage for 30 years. It was just a crib to start off. It wasn't even your dream home. It's what you could have got at that time. And you were locked in for 30 years, bro. That other house that you were working on to save for, you can't afford that. You got kids. You got responsibilities. That's your reality, bro. I refuse. That's not my reality, bro. I don't care what religion you have, whether you believe in heaven, whether you believe in reincarnation, whether you believe it all ends. One thing we know, we're born and we die. And if you have faith, you believe, you're delusional about that too. And I'm delusional too. You believe in the afterlife, but nobody has ever returned from the afterlife that you know of, right? So in all actuality, this could just be it. This could literally just be everything. Beginning, middle, and end right here. And you're telling me you want to spend the one life that you have left to live to go work for Joe Schmo in his business to make him however amount of money for your entire life? You always wanted to travel, you never did it. You always wanted to buy that crib, you never did it because you couldn't afford to do it. You always wanted to buy that car, you couldn't do it. You always dreamed of being a painter, you couldn't do it. You couldn't, you chose not to do it. You didn't do it. I'm not couldn't, you didn't do it. You chose not to do it. You had all these aspirations and you chose to settle to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of your life. And now that pensions are gone for a possible 401k, and I seen this video the other day where more people are coming out of retirement because they sold you a dream where if you work 40 to 50 years of your life away for whatever shitty company or whatever company that you have faith in, they're going to give you a certain amount of money and you can just sit back on the beach in your old age and fucking rot away till it's time to go to wherever you go after you die. And come to find out 5-6 years after retirement, you can't afford to stay in retirement. And now you're fucking 70 filling out a job application. And you want me to be realistic and choose a 9 to 5 versus just risk it all, put the work in, be delusional, do everything I can. If one thing doesn't work, try something different. If that doesn't work, try something different until I achieve my goal. So that's more realistic than me dedicating the hours and the time, law of averages, dedication, consistency, and just faith and delusion until achieving my goal. This is delusional. I think anybody who works a 9 to 5 is delusional. And I think anybody who fights tooth and nail, risk their lives to achieve their goals and ambitions, I think these people are realistic because they're real with themselves, they're real with their talents, and they're real with their beliefs. So in all actuality, I don't think I'm delusional. I think I'm as real as it gets because I know I'm going to get there. Because all I have to do is just believe and do everything that I can and get there. Because honestly speaking, bro, if you ever see me 55 at a 9 to 5, that's not me. Promise you that. Promise you that. I'm going to make it. That's it. Point blank, period. And I feel like I've talked to too many people that just gave up. And bro, when they say your haters are your biggest motivators, bro, like, have you ever met somebody that just hates you for being you and you never did anything wrong to a person, bro? They don't hate you. They hate where you are, what you represent as a person, and where you're going. Because oftentimes, bro, when somebody sees you and they just hate you, it's because they just see what they could have become. Like that other episode of Potential, they know they had that potential. The biggest haters were some of the people with the biggest fucking potential. And when they see you living that potential, even if you're not where you're gonna be, but if you're doing everything that you can to get there, they know you're gonna get there. And that's why they fucking hate it so much. Because they see what they could have been in you. And like that phrase says, that saying says, misery loves company. So they hate you so much, they're preying on your downfall just so they can feel better about their failures because they gave up and couldn't get to where they need to be. The moment that they see somebody that was in their shoes makes it, now they have to face that unspeakable truth that it was their fault. It was not any of the excuses that they came up with, but it was their fucking fault. This happened, that happened, these circumstances, I couldn't do it. That nigga was in your position. He, she, them, they were in your position. And they achieved everything you ever fucking dreamed of while you're there exactly where you were when you made that very first excuse as to why you couldn't get there. Because every time you make an excuse, it sounds beautiful. It sounds amazing. It sounds right. People going, that sounds about right. I see why you didn't do that. But when that person didn't make any excuses, they bit the bullet, they struggled, they starved, they went through hell and back, and they got there, and now they're achieving all the blessings that their delusional mindset forced them to follow to the and see through to the very end. You can't live with that. Because once you see them there, you see everything that you could have been and that you're fucking not. And that's why I used to talk when I was younger, bro. I was broke. I ain't talked to nobody, bro. Like I could have got a whole lot of bitches, but my parents had kids very young. And this is how fucking delusional I was, bro. I was afraid to get into a relationship. Shit, I was afraid to fall in love because I know for a fact if I'm in love with somebody, I have to dedicate time. I have to really be there for that person. And I thought to myself, damn, any amount of time that I spent there being there for my girl, taking her out, making sure she's good, she's going through whatever, I'm there for her. That's time that I could have spent investing in myself, investing in my dreams. You feel me? And I'm always the firm believer of whatever is meant for you is going to come for you. So if I do everything that I can and manifest my dreams and work hard for it, that dream girl that's perfect for me, she's going to be imperfect. Everybody's imperfect, but she's going to be perfect for me because I'm imperfect. She's going to come when she needs to. The cars that I want is going to come when it needs to. The cribs, the jewelries is going to come when it needs to. The coloring I'm going to buy my dad is going to come too. The house that I'm going to buy for my parents is going to come. Everything I want to get from my sisters, my cousins, my aunties, my brothers, it's going to come. Whatever I manifest, it's already meant for me. I just got to prove to God and the universe that I deserve it by being delusional, by cutting off every distraction, because that's the only ending. And I truly believe that I fell in love when I was young, but I was like, man, I can't risk it. I risk never falling in love again because I'm like, no, fam. I believe in my dream so much that I'm going to get my dream. And even if it's not the girl that I thought it was, whoever is meant for me is going to come to me. On me. Hey, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, damn, I missed the feeling of being in love. And I've been through a lot and I'm a cold-hearted person. But I'm like, it was worth it. Just hang on, Louis. McLaren's coming. The crib for your parents is coming. Your brother's being put onto is all coming. Everything that you want is coming. Diamond Records coming. Your store being put right next to Hermes and Louis Vuitton is coming. And every time I doubt, I'm like, nah, fam, like, just do it. Bro, I'm telling you, Nike, bro, sponsor your boy. I swear to God, bro. I wear Nike specifically a lot. I don't really give a fuck about the brand. That just do it is one of the greatest fucking sayings I've ever heard in my life. Shut the fuck up. Stop complaining. Fuck your circumstances. Fuck your situations. Just do it. Life is going to happen. You just got to do it. And that's how delusional I am about my goals in life. And somebody I want to get on this podcast is my brother, bro. My other brother, Trey. I grew up with Buddy, bro. Just like my brother Shy, bro. I met him when I was in high school. We met all at the same time. I've never met somebody more dedicated into a craft. Like ambition. When I think of ambition, I see that nigga first. And I'm a very ambitious person, bro. This man has been playing football since like Pee-wee. And he promised himself, he's like, bro, I'm going to do what I need to do to get to the league. And he played varsity as a sophomore, played for D1 school in college, got conference player of the week, month, all that good shit, was being scouted by the NFL. And while he was in school, and this blew my mind, bro. Imagine you spent your whole life about making it to the league and you have an opportunity. And we had met, and he before I hit the road trip to follow my dreams, we had met, and we didn't speak and like we spoke, but we didn't see each other for like 2 years. But right before I left, he was talking about like, hey bro, like I don't know what's gonna be the next step, but it's gonna be a big one. And he had to decide whether he wanted to start his own business and focus on becoming an accountant and getting his CPA. And he probably wasn't even thinking about a CPA, just being an accountant and pursuing a different like direction versus going to the league. As a young nigga, bro, your dream is to this is fucked up, but rap, trap, or go to the NBA, retire your parents early, and put your niggas on and make it. And when the opportunity came, we had a conversation. He's like, bro, like why do we want the things that we want, and why do we think we love the things that we love? And that shit blew my mind. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? And he was like, do I really want a Mercedes Benz because it's a great vehicle, it's luxurious, and I love the car? Or was I just sold on the idea that you're successful when you have a Benz and the status that it stands for? Like, do I really want to buy a mansion and a big ass crib, or do I just want a nice spot that feels like home? Like, do I really need a big ass crib with a Porsche in the driveway, or this, that, and the third? And we really talked about our environment and what success means to us. And he's like, was it ever really my dream to go to the league, or was it just the only thing that gave me peace and comfort when I'm surrounded by niggas trapping, selling dope, who's like doing all types of crazy shit? You get what I mean? And we grew up in the same environment, bro. Like, and we had that conversation. He's like, is that really our dream, or are we just programmed that's like, nigga, go to the league, go to college, get this degree, make 6-7 figures, get a Benz, retire your parents, and that's success? He's like, it's cool. I for sure want to do all those nice things, but is that really the definition of whatever? And he woke up one day and he loves the game of football. He just, bro, I just love the game of football because I love the game. It taught me how to be a man. It taught me how to overcome adversity. It taught me how to really stand there. And he played receiver, DB, corner, safety. And he's like, every position, just dedicated. It taught me dedication, consistency, and it made me a man. And I learned real life lessons through the sport. But when I think about going to the league, that's not what I want to do. That's not my dream. And that was that blew my mind, and that blew his mind too. Me personally, my dream has not changed, and I firmly believe in my soul. Like, I'm meant to be a musician. Like, that's my number one dream, and I'm meant to be great at it. And I remember I was listening to Future, and there was a song, I forgot what song, but the intro of the song, it's not even the song. It just, he said one phrase, and it stuck with me for the rest of my life. And he said, the luxury of having passion. When you know what your dreams are, you can be delusional as you want because you have passion for it. You have the drive to get it no matter what comes. That's a luxury, being hungry to get there no matter the odds. And I used to be like, nigga, I want to make it, man. Fuck all that struggle shit. And he's like, no, bro, like that hunger to get there, a lot of people don't have that. And when I was talking to my brother, he was like, bro, like one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever had to go to was realizing that I honestly don't want to go to the league, and I don't know what I want to aspire to be in life at this point in my life. I'm making 6 figures. I'm well off. I'm 21 making he was what, like 23? I'm 23 making 6 figures. Most people in life will never hit that milestone. I'm doing this at 23 and I'm projected to make more And I'm planning on starting my own business. I'm planning on doing all this, that, and the third. And right when I had all that coming, bro, like I had an opportunity to go to the league, and I realized that's not what I wanted to do. And his whole perception of life and everything changed. And I loved it. You feel me? That's my brother. Whatever you decide to do, bro, I'm like, man, like, I'm with you, bro. If that shit don't make you happy, even though like you thought that was your dreams from when you were a kid, if that don't make you happy, like figure that shit out. And if you ever need some shit I got, nigga, like just hit my line. And I just watched him turn it to a whole different gear. And every time I talk to him, he's just elevating, just doing something different. And I see a passion for just finance. I don't know exactly what he do, but I just know he doing it. Shout out to my dog. I don't know what he do exactly, but I just know he doing it and he locked in. And even when he's unsure of what the end goal is going to be or what the next step is going to be, he's like, hey man, I know I'm heading in the right direction. I just got to calculate my steps. And then like, it's amazing watching somebody go from uncertainty to just fucking blind determination. And that's the luxury of having passion. And that's the luxury of being delusional. I don't know what his end goal is going to be. And I'm pretty sure he's figuring that shit as he goes along. But I've never seen that man more like happy. I've seen him trying different things, experiencing like living life. We're having conversations we never thought we'd have conversations about. We're trying experiences we never thought we'd ever live to see coming from where we came from. But then once he hit that point, it's just like the world just opened